Hi, I'm Christina, the creator and founder of ZIMAF Entertainment International, and the producer and host of Health, Wealth, and Happiness, Interviews to Inspire. I hope you enjoy this special episode of the series from our Season 1, all about the wealth. Our next descriptive word is immigrant. My mother was born and raised in the Philippines, but is still culturally diverse in the Philippines. She also has Spanish heritage. Tell us about life as an immigrant, life being a mix of Spanish and Filipino, as well as when you came here. That's a lot of story there, but please.
Well, life were in the Philippines. It was nice. I mean, my father was a well-known person in our island. He was, he was a sort of a politician, but never really. I mean, later on when our town became a town, he ran for mayor, and of course he had 2 terms mayor. People like but he was involved in politics. The president of the Philippines, the senators, congressmen, they all, they were friendly with my father. So I grew up that way.
So let's move on to our wealth section. Now, for those of you who are brand new, wealth can mean a lot. Well, it is brand new. It's only the second episode. So wealth in Health, Wealth, and Happiness is about what we feel about is wealth or abundance in our own life. And that's really what I want to bring to light with this show is what are our own personal definitions of wealth. And I love yours. It's the arts and education. And, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Tell me a little bit more about your love of the arts.
Oh my God. I could talk for hours about this. So I was fortunate enough to have 2 really great parents who valued the importance of arts and culture. So from a pretty young age, my father is a classical music enthusiast. My mother is a linguist. So she translates as well as being a dance enthusiast.
Renee, your second word for wealth is generosity. Ooh, I like this one. Tell me more about how you define wealth as generosity.
So when I think of wealth equals generosity, I like to think of it like this. A person who is well off to me is not just a person that has a lot of things, a lot of finances, a lot of even persuasion, but it's their ability to be generous, have a generous eye to others. And I love that and I could name like sports figures. I could name people in the news, in the media who are those kinds of people.
Jennifer's second word is freedom. Ooh, this is a big one. I love this. This is something from the moment I met her, she talked about. So Jennifer, tell us a little bit more about how wealth and freedom mean something to you.
Freedom in the sense of like we can choose, especially with our time, what we can do as long as like we have built up the wealth that we can use to do so. So we tried really hard early on to make sure that we could get out of debt to have this type of freedom. I mentioned Dave Ramsey's book. If anybody hasn't read it, I think it's a great read. But he talks about the debt snowball, and a lot of people leave college or whatever you do right after you become an adult with a significant amount of debt, whether it's because of college, because of a car, because of a house, and how that kind of can rule your life if you let it. And while, we make decent money, we're both engineers, but we have 3 kids, so daycare is also ridiculously expensive.
Your wealth word is inner peace. Oh,
yeah. I'm kind of like, just put me out there like Snow White with little birds on my fingers. Oh, yeah. Well, and it just leads right into it because all those things connect to one another. Because if you are in search of the right thing, if you got your vibration on the right things for you, the right stuff starts coming. I'm not saying, you see these things on YouTube that say, if we're doing the right thing and attracting the right stuff. Well, it's true. Now, granted, very few people are going to say, okay, that's it. I'm gonna start having a better attitude today. And, a 2-ton brick of gold lands on their desk tomorrow. Well, that's not going to happen that way. You still have to nurture that dream. You still have to do your part of the work, but you have to love yourself. You have to say, okay,
So we're moving on to wealth, and the calming voice is coming out of me now too after speaking with Ruth.
I love it. I'm like, ooh, yes.
And so wealth, your word is mindset. I know there's a lot wrapped into that, but I'll have you say it in your words, what it means to you.
Wealth for me is more of a mindset than accumulating physical goods. And I can share a story of when I was working in accounting and I had disposable income to buy clothes, bags, go clubbing, go out to restaurants and wine and dine myself. And even though there was this material abundance that I had, I never felt wealthy.
Natalie's wealth word is a healer. She is someone you can hear her wisdom from her own life and from dealing with so many in her experiences. Please tell us more about wealth as a healer.
Over the years, like I said, I've been in practice for over 23 years, and I've seen so many people, so many levels in their healing journey. And yeah, I think at this point, from all the things that I've experienced and everything that I've seen, I would definitely consider myself a healer, and that's a wealth. That's my wealth word, because it's when we can be in that place where we can be healing. I think that's so powerful. I mean, that's wealth in itself, right? Because then that opens doors for so many things. And so,
Now, this will be an interesting discovery. Angela's wealth word is open-minded. Tell us more about what open-minded means to you and wealth.
Well, right now, I am doing a lot of traveling because I'm trying to find a place over there so I don't have to pay for somewhere to stay. So it's like keeping your options open, keeping your resources open, finding people, networking with people, things like that to try to figure out what's going to be the best options for you to be able to do this. Because
So Jan's next word for wealth is abundance. Tell us about what abundance means for you.
So abundance for me is having been able to look and think that I've got enough of everything. I'm full, basically. And I know that you use the word wealth, but I don't think necessarily of wealth as being just money. I think that, we're wealthy in lots of different ways. You said earlier that I live in Leeds, and I do, but we're right on the kind of edge of Leeds. So we're really lucky in that we live right next door to an urban trail. So it's full of woodland, and I can go out into nature and watch it change. I can watch the wildlife. We've got owls, we've got bats, there's foxes, there's badgers, I believe, as well, and otters, but I've never seen them. But we see deer regularly, and that feels like abundance to me. I feel as if I'm kind of wealthy just in that respect.
Mary Jane's next word is courage. That is her definition of wealth. Can you tell us more about courage as your wealth word?
Again, you are making it difficult for me, Christina, to provide you with information about your topics, health, wealth, and happiness. These three are very important, I should say. And my word is courage. Yes, courage is actually the backbone of wealth, in as far as I'm concerned. I started talking about my time in Singapore a while ago. I was there a decade ago, working and living in this first world country. I had access to everything, you know, not because it was just luck for me, but because I worked hard, because of my qualification, my desire, and my ambition. So when you talk about material wealth, I had those things.
You have my heart on this word for your wealth word, inheriting culture. Tell us more about this.
As an entrepreneur and as a mom and a head of a household with my Ethiopian background, wealth could be defined by words only, like heritage, community, and culture. It encompasses not to just financially prosperity, but also to the richness of your family, life, culture, heritage, and the impact that make through your lifestyle. Meaning, coming from Ethiopian background, it's where there is a love and care and looking one another and sharing and all that. It really stayed in me. What I'm trying to do is pass it on to my daughter by staying together, sharing, caring, and all that. When we're doing our product, is just out of love and care.
So Chris, your wealth word is retirement security. Tell us more about that.
Well, it's funny, it's kind of a wonky sounding term, but it really summarizes where I am in my life, which is, like I said, I'm 63. And so what is it that I want from the rest of my life? And honestly, the key to that is having a little bit of financial security under that decision making. I do want to give the labor movement a lot of credit for where I'm at in this place, because I've worked for unions my whole career. And unions have fought for and have themselves, very good retirement plans, defined benefit plans, pension plans, as well as 401ks. But the pension plans really create that sense of choice and security that you can get as you approach, your retirement age. And retirement doesn't mean, I'm going to stop working and I'm not going to do anything. Retirement just means, do I have the freedom to step back from an intense, stressful, or time-driven job? So.
Rachel's wealth word is sharing. You could tell us more about that, can't you? Share with us.
Sure. So this is actually pretty short and to the point. I believe that there is a point where I have enough for me, my family, we have enough. Even in moments when I look back at my life when I didn't have, it was still the same thing. I was still giving, even when if I didn't even have it to really give, because there's always someone who needs something more.
When you put the words wealth with global, what does that mean to you?
I believe that if someone is not global, or if a business is not global, if global is not part of a business or a person, you're being left behind. So wealth for me represents someone or a business that is doing very well. And to do well, you need to be global. You need to explore outside of what you're in your comfort zone.
Thank you for watching this episode. Please like, subscribe, and follow so that you can see more of our inspiring interviews.